Christian Polanco and Alexis Guerreros of the Cooligans. When I say to you, name a player that you only think of because they were in your life for 3 weeks in an international tournament, what's the one player that immediately comes to your mind?
Okay.
Can you knock off Russo Rechber as King of the Mountain? Because Turkey's 0-2 keeper Russo Rechber is right now my king of this game.
Right now mine is Asamoah Gyan.
Oh, knock this out.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, let's see. Only for a tournament?
Yeah, it's just like this one player had an international tournament that you remember, and therefore, and that's the only thing that you know them for. It's not like they had a European club career that you're aware of. Like, I imagine for a lot of people in Europe, like Guillermo Ochoa, the Mexico goalkeeper, it's like this player who only exists in World Cups. He doesn't exist in the 4 years in between.
Jan Sommer's a good one.
Yeah, that's true.
For a lot of people. I don't know how much they're following Gladbach.
Can I say Kyle Beckerman?
Yes.
I offered him up as an American contestant in this game. It's great to see you. Also, when we were talking about great Cuban soccer players, Real Madrid have an active Dominican. So that's something.
Do they?
Yeah, Mariano.
That's right.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I always thought Inter Miami should just go after him.
Whenever I hear active Dominican, I'm like, what? He's got a dating profile? He's a hit on Tinder? What's going on?
Mike Ruiz just sounded like a police in the Bronx. We got an active Dominican.
we got an
Look
active
out,
Dominican.
everybody.
Got an active Dominican. Fellas, it's great to see you here on the precipice of an all-time World Cup final. As I pointed out earlier, one of the commenters on Morally Abhorrent said it's best player in the world versus best player of all time. It's the marquee names entering this tournament. Mbappe, with a stronger supporting cast, has come back to the World Cup final where he can win his second at the age of 23. That's the hard one to get, and he's going up against Messi, who is trying to get the elusive one. The drama surrounding this, the pressure is pretty unparalleled compared to previous ones, and the stakes are always ratcheted. Can't get much higher in the men's game. What are you expecting come Sunday? Alexis, we'll begin with you because you could already feel the tension. You could already feel the megastars in that tunnel. It's got to be a moment for the ages.
It's tough because I picked France to win. I love the vibes. I love Mbappe. I love Giroud. I love everything about this French team, but the absolute rabid Ronaldo hater inside me wants Messi to win this just so I can point at everyone who's ever worn a Manchester United shirt and laugh and laugh. And everyone with Cristiano Ronaldo as their profile photo, laugh and laugh in their face. The argument is over. You are one of the greats, but you ain't the great. You ain't the GOAT, baby.
Yeah, there's something about the story. The end. We were talking about this yesterday on our show, but the end of the movie needs the finale, the climax needs to be Messi lifting that World Cup trophy. Even though I think it'll be just so difficult. This is just, Argentina were Moroccan yesterday, man. They really were supporting Morocco, and that obviously would have been the better opponent, I guess, for them, but. This is I think France has to be the favorite, but Argentina have a very, very good chance in winning this. They've had a pretty good tournament outside of their opening match against Saudi Arabia.
I think I want to follow up on the Ronaldo v Messi point, because I actually, over the course of my soccer supporting life, I kind of found the bandwagon jumpers on Barcelona in the early 2000s to be fairly objectionable. And now we have seen in these last few years the thinning of the herd of Barcelona fans, because they used to be omnipresent. But now I'm with you, Alexis. For me, the Ronaldo fanboy, I so want to see them root for France for these 90 minutes and be disappointed as this argument ends. Because this argument ends, and then I think we should probably be a bit more considering of Pele. I know that that's kind of an old thing to do, but I think we should be more considering of Pele. But man, I have fallen in love with the Messi narrative these last 3 weeks. For me, it's destined
we've moved past
for him.
Pele. We've moved past Pele.
Okay,
Pele dusty, bro.
But why? But why? Why have we moved past
It's
Pele?
over.
Why?
It's over because you got to go to the library and get microfiche to find out what Pele did, bro.
Just watch the keepers. Anytime you watch a Pele
I will say,
highlight, watch the keeper.
You need actual reel. You need actual heavy reel to see Pele highlight. Some of that stuff is in Sanskrit, bro. It's over, dog. You got your flowers, my G. You were the only soccer player anyone in America knew for about 40 years. You good. All right? This is Messi's time.
Melee.
Yeah.
This is Messi's time. And by the way, I'm born and raised in Newark. I can't even go back to the Portuguese section safely because of all the Ronaldo hate I'm giving, and I can't wait to never be able to go back there.
I was always a big Ronaldo guy when it came to the debate, and then links to Inter Miami might have changed things a little bit. But also, Ronaldo forcing his way out and just making a mess of it for his national team too. I think that there was a lot of shrapnel from his actions, and I do think. And we should keep in mind that he's had a lot going on in his personal life, and this could be just some weird manifestation of grief. But I really do think he's hurt how he'll be looked upon by how this is totally erupted into flames at Manchester United. He was always held in high regard. I think he will be to a degree, but it will be part of his legacy there. And him going out on the bench, making a mess of things for his teammates at this World Cup, losing one of the great upsets to Morocco after they had put in such a stellar performance with him not out there starting. I think a lot for his legacy has been slightly diminished, and it's not necessarily unfair that he's older than Messi throughout the entire time of this debate, but I do think Messi puts it in the rearview mirror, where everyone can kind of collectively say, I know social media is very toxic and people will refuse to admit that they're wrong, but I think that the debate is over if Messi does this, at least for our generation, Christian.
Right. And I think for someone who appears to care so much about their ego, how they present themselves, all this stuff going on, doing this interview with Piers Morgan. So his public image is something that's very important to him. But he will be remembered in this World Cup as the guy who didn't really start every game, who was a bit of a concern, maybe a liability, maybe he hurt the team. And Messi is living this story that I think every footballer in the world would love to have, where their country absolutely adores them. And, there was that reporter that was talking to Messi and simply saying, hey, even if you don't win the World Cup, you are so important to our country. Thank you for everything you've done. You're not really seeing that with Ronaldo, and regardless of what the debate online is or whatever, I think Messi can sleep a little peacefully, being like, hey, you know what, I did my best, and my country has some gratitude for that. And so when it comes to the public image debate, Messi got it.
But I do think that this game on Sunday kind of comes down to the walkers, as I would call them, Messi and Mbappe, because neither of them puts in a ton of effort defensively. And I think France were a little bit exposed in the game against Morocco because there's this one wing where there is only one defender instead of two, and Morocco just kept going at that wing. So how do you actually see, from a soccer standpoint, this game playing out, Alexis?
How dare you ask Messi or Mbappe to defend? Who are you? What are you, Jose Mourinho?
Okay, no, hang on a second. Lionel Messi is 35, okay? You can understand why he doesn't defend. Kylian Mbappe's 23. He's got the legs. Like, he can do, be in a shape. Can he be in a shape? Is that too much to ask?
But if he does that, then he can't do that Mbappe magic.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. He's 23.
His take on ability is better than anybody's.
He can do both. He can do both. He's young enough to do both. Come on.
That man is about to win, is potentially winning his second World Cup.
I know.
You want him to defend?
I want him to do a little bit more.
I honestly think it does come down to France's ability to defend. Messi, everyone around him wants him to win, but it's almost like a little bit of bedlam trying to get him the ball and hope and get in a position where he'll either pass to you or magic is created. There's a little bit more of a structure that I see in France. There's a little bit more of a team unity that I see in France when they're in the final third, wherein, when it gets to Argentina, it's like, all hands on deck. Don't mess this up for Messi. You know what I mean? So I do think it will come down to the ability of that of that sort of succeeding versus France's ability to stop that from happening. But multiple times throughout this entire competition, I've sat there and said, if N'Golo Kante was here, this wouldn't even be a competition.
Yeah. But N'Golo Kante is there in the form of Antoine Griezmann, of all people.
I mean, I heard he plays reggaeton in the dressing room.
He's from Uruguay. He identifies as Uruguay.
Yeah, I'm starting to like Griezmann a little more. I personally, I don't think France should or will get in the way of destiny. And I think it's going to come down to their inability to defend. And we've seen this. We saw this in the last match, man. When Argentina gets going, dude, ain't nobody stopping them. And if they can catch that momentum, it's going to get carried away.
Both teams have those moments where it's like for 5 minutes they're unplayable. And they just they're a supernova, and the rest of the game is just sort of them at a very normal pace, or sort of very normal for international soccer. And then something happens where in these quick moments, honestly, France's goals yesterday don't really come from much. It's not born out of some inherent strategy. It's Mbappe gets the ball and he attracts 4 defenders. And then deflected shots result, and then
I think you're underselling Griezmann's playmaking ability quite a bit there, because especially I understand what you're talking about. The gravitational pull from Mbappe is immense, but their midfield is quality. Griezmann's having the best stretch of games I've ever seen him really play, and Giroud can do some of the things in creating some of the space and individual matchups. Yes, he'll drive you crazy because he'll miss some sitters, but he also just is a goal getter. One of those vintage strikers that all of a sudden feels like a rarity. It's not all Mbappe, and the constant threat of Mbappe is a huge part of their success. But I don't want you to undersell the performance from Griezmann, because Griezmann, for me, if France win, Griezmann should lay claim to player of the tournament. If Argentina win, Messi can lay claim to player of the tournament. It all depends on what kind of performance and maybe who lifts the cup. But I think Griezmann has been the most consistently excellent player for France, and that includes Mbappe, who's been stellar, who they certainly don't find themselves in this position without him. But he's had some dips. He goes missing at times. He doesn't put forth that honest effort on both sides of the ball, as you highlighted. Griezmann, for me, has been otherworldly.
Yeah, I would add that Woody, when you were mentioning that second half for between France and Morocco, I thought France looked a little nervous and a little weak. I mean, there was Morocco, who we know are not the highest quality team in the world, made I think they scared France a little bit, and like you said, the goals that France got were a little bit lucky. They took a little bit of magic from Mbappe, of course, but the deflections and then, players being in the right place at the right time. But they're not, if they show that, they had to switch their midfielders because they were getting eaten alive in that second half. And I think that's, if they are in that situation in the final against Argentina, they're not escaping without giving up a goal. So I do feel that the narrative and the storyline, not just for Messi, but for the 10 players around him. We've interviewed Argentinian players that say that, they care more about Messi winning a World Cup than Argentina winning a World Cup. This is how much respect they have for this man. And every player on the pitch is going to play with that level of, I think, inspiration and pressure. And that might just be the edge in this game, even though I do think France is better. But the heart that Argentina are going to be playing with is going to be immense.
But I also think to that point about Argentinian players wanting to win for Messi more than Argentina or themselves, I think it only further goes to show how much the internet and sports discourse has completely altered our brains. Or it's we would rather solve the Messi Ronaldo debate than win the World Cup for our country. I really think that's what it is.
Because it's getting crazy, bro. You see these ESPN FC tweets? They're begging for engagement, bro. Yeah, we gotta stop it.
Most divisive force on the planet, ESPN FC's admin.
Yeah,
it's terrible. But I didn't think that it would that debate would infiltrate even Portugal's response to them blowing it. against Morocco. They were all blaming Argentinian refs. Argentina has nothing to do with this. What are you talking about? They thought on the international scale their game was unfairly refereed because of the Messi-Ronaldo debate.
Bro, they're saying the refs were Antifa, bro.
Yeah.
They got anything they can do to not admit they lost.
We got to stop these woke referees never giving us calls.
Just Pepe missed an absolute chance late in the game, and he totally what about Chicago'd us in the post-game presser.
Dude, I love it. I love it because the pettiness is way more important than the championship. This isn't 1950 anymore, bro. We get it. You celebrate. We're going to see it all on social media anyway. What's important for me is who can I roast in the group chat, okay? And there's a couple Portuguese dudes. And by the way, to Christian's point, there's no one in Portugal that's trying to win it for Ronaldo, bro. No one's talking about Ronaldo.
Except for Ronaldo.
Rooney don't even like him.
Well, I guess that's the difference between them, though, right? Is that Messi is a far more collaborative figure than like Ronaldo has been so much about himself.
It's just Messi is a lot more quiet about his divisiveness, whereas Ronaldo wears it on his face.
Yeah, I mean, no one's talking about the Panama Papers. Remember that? Messi was in that.
No, Messi obviously has a lot of influence with the national team. They're really great players that do not feature. They're managers that didn't stick around. Messi lets it be known he just prefers a more covert way than sitting down with Piers Morgan. I think there's a nice little middle lane there for a lot of folks. You don't have to go all the way
Messi
to
is LeBronish. Messi is LeBronish in the way that he wields his power.
100%.
But to Alexis's point though, like Ronaldo has done such a bad job of like managing his public personality that not even his Portugal teammates are really that exercised about winning a World Cup for him. This was so obviously his last World Cup, and it didn't seem like anyone was saying that. No one was saying, "Oh, we got to win one for Ronaldo." Like he is not this galvanizing figure in the same way.
Think about the lasting image of him walking off that pitch, whether he was crying or laughing was hard to determine because of what he's got going on in his face and years of just numbing some of the muscle there. But no one was consoling him there. He was doing it all by himself.
And most people watching were laughing. Like there is not a lot of respect for Ronaldo as this figure. Unless you have Ronaldo's picture in your avatar.
I feel bad for how it all ended, but I see it, and it's just you're kind of to blame for this it should have been a celebration of his career, the way that we've seen so many legendary figures go off on the international game. The only person that really botched it prior to was Zidane. Even if people go out on the group stage, it's still like, we'll clap it up. Figo will have his exit. Nedved will have his exit. And Ronaldo, I know it was a crushing defeat, but he didn't have that hero send-off.
And he had a chance late in that game, too, to score a goal. He was in on goal, and he didn't score.
Mm-hmm. But
I would add that probably the biggest reason for it is that he's just not a good teammate. I mean, we have so much evidence of that, and even if it's an office environment, if you're just not a good coworker, you're not gonna get a party in the break room on your last day. We don't care if you're leaving, and that's essentially there was a tweet from Bethany Balser. She plays for OL Reign, and she pointed out, she's like, I don't care how good of a player you are. If you're not a good teammate, I don't want to play with you. I don't want you on my team. And that's, to have so much, we see his body of work, but to see so many instances over and over of him just being a poor sportsmanship, not a good teammate. At some point, people are going to see that. People are going to notice that. And I think we're seeing the outcome of all his choices throughout his career.
Alexis and Christian do such a great job with the Cooligans, and they've been working really hard throughout this World Cup. We're going to go ahead and put a link to the Cooligans in this episode description. Please support them. I cannot wait to hear your take on this upcoming World Cup final. Make sure to check out all their YouTube stuff. They've been tremendous partners throughout this and only getting better and stronger right now. It's a great time to be hitting your stride, gentlemen, as we walk up here to a World Cup filled with storylines for our lifetime. It's never quite been this juicy. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to see what you do in the aftermath of this match.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Also, can you ask Dan if I could borrow some money?
Also, and before, and if we're, I just want to make sure I say this. Witty, your episode about Grant was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for doing that. Obviously, this World Cup is memorable for a lot of reasons, but that is a very difficult tragedy, and we're never going to be able to forget this World Cup. Obviously, for because of Grant. So I just wanted to make sure I let you know that, because it was absolutely incredible and beautiful.
Much appreciated, guys.
Yeah, we appreciated your words on the matter as well, gentlemen. Tough time. We'll be seeing you soon. And again, check out the Cooligans. And if you're not subscribed to them, go ahead and do that. They're also a part of the Le Batard and Friends Network. So if you subscribe to that RSS feed, you'll get all the great contributions that they've had throughout this World Cup, and onward and upward, because we kind of hit the ground running towards the holiday season. We're right back into club seasons, and it'll be a great opportunity for people that have gotten into the game because of this World Cup to really get the bug and continue on following. And the Cooligans will be right there with you, right inside card, making you laugh the entire way. So thank you, gentlemen.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.